Image, your beats are so fire.
What is going on, everybody? How are y'all doing today? Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. My name is Suge, and we are here. We're going to be recapping the Steelers versus Commander game. We also got some NFL scores from this week, and we will be looking forward to Steelers Ravens next week. It's a big game. I believe it's going to be a game to decide who's first in the division. So appreciate everybody that's here on a Sunday. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And tomorrow, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Really appreciate you. And thank you for your support. Hope everyone is doing well today. It has been a long day, a long weekend. Today's game, if it didn't give you a heart attack, I don't know what to tell you because it was a very close game. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But we'll do some scores from the week this week. We had the Bengals versus Ravens. Ravens winning by 1 point as the Bengals went for two instead of kicking a field goal to go into overtime or possibly go into overtime. There was still time left on the clock for the Ravens. Went for two, missed it on some questionable missed calls, defensive holding, defensive face mask, things like that. That happened, but Ravens were able to get that win. Giants versus Panthers over in Germany early this morning. If you know my man Ferris McDonough, he was calling the game this morning. Panthers win though, 20-17. Not sure with a Bryce Young touchdown. Cooper Hubbard having 153 yards rushing. Tyrone Tracy Jr. 103 yards, one touchdown. So that was a good game over in Germany. We had the Patriots beating the Browns 19-3. The Browns, not the Browns, the Bears 19-3. Bears not really looking that good, even though they got Caleb Williams and all those weapons for him. Still very underperforming. We also got 49ers versus Bucks. 49ers pulling out by 3, really tough game there. Same thing with the Chiefs Broncos. Seems like all these games were close. Chiefs Broncos 16-14. Bills Colts. Bills with 30-20, beating out the Colts. We got the Steelers versus the Commanders. We'll talk about that game in a little bit. Vikings versus Jaguars. Tough game. 12-7. Saints were able to come back from their loss last week to beat the Falcons 17-20. And currently, Titans, Chargers, Jets, Cardinals, Eagles, Cowboys are playing right now. And then we have the Sunday night game in Lions, Texans, Dolphins, Rams for tomorrow. And just looking at next week's schedule, I think they need to change the Sunday night game. I would flex next week's game, but that is not my choice. All right, let's get into it. So Steelers win 28-27, beating the Washington Commanders in Washington. Steelers have yet to play in their division. And a couple things from this game. The obvious ones is going to be the fake the fake punt that we went for on really close to our goal line. And I didn't have a problem with the fake punt. Because if Pierre catches that, he's running and that's a first down, possibly to the 50, maybe even a touchdown because he was wide open. But it failed, giving Washington the opportunity to score. And really just kind of giving Washington that momentum. They were Steelers were able to, and it's going to come down to Steelers were able to, instead of giving up seven, gave up three, two field goals twice, which really was a big impact on the game. Even though Russell Wilson's interception was pretty much just a long punt, basically. He went for it, and it was just became a punt. Um, the other big thing is, um, I'll read your comment in a minute, Ro. The other big thing is the play for Washington. They go for it on a fourth down, and Eric, I think it was Eric Hurts, Zach Hurts, catches the ball at the 41. Uh, Now we all know the yellow line on TV is unofficial, but it's pretty close. He catches the ball right where the yellow line is. The ball, though, he catches the ball here, and when he goes to turn, gets hit by two Steelers defenders, and the ball really never is able to leave his, I believe, when he catches the ball, the right side of his body to kind of extend to get the first down. Many people say, well, he caught it on the 41, which is true, but I feel like the ball was here. So if the line, if your body's leaning this way and the line is here, like your body's there, but we're looking at the ball. Um, and so they called it short. They reviewed it and confirmed it was short. Steelers didn't have the game in the bag. They ran the ball, got down there 3rd and 8. They got close. Patterson was able to run it, got real close, kept the ball in bounds, made Washington use their last time out. So it was a 4th and 1, and Thomas sent his offense back out there, and they pretty much go and do a hard count, and Washington's rookie jumped, giving the Steelers 5 yards, giving them the first down, and able to nail the game out and run the clock out. This is a good game as far as for the Steelers being able to come back. Because to be honest, Washington was playing very well. Jaden Downs, even though he didn't have any touchdowns, was able to throw the ball around. Threw it a lot, 34 times. That's a lot. McLaurin had 113 yards, but kept him out of the end zone. You weren't able to keep Eckler out. McNeilson, McNeils, yeah, I believe it's McNeils. He also scored, but only had 7 yards. Only 44 yards rushing. McLaurin was the one that ate us up, but kept him out of the end zone. And you were able to hold, and he had big plays. So you're able to hold those, keeping him out of the end zone to 3 points rather than 7. Russell Wilson wasn't having the greatest day, but then he was able to throw the ball, got 3 touchdowns. Jalen Warren had 66 yards. Najee had 53. Najee got a little banged up, but was able to come back in. George Pickens 91 yards, 1 touchdown. The big touchdown was Mike Williams. And if you go on Twitter, a lot of Steelers fans, well, we traded for Mike Williams. Why are we not throwing him the ball? And then we threw him the ball, and he scored 32 yards and 1 touchdown. Pat Freiermuth was also able to get a touchdown. We need to get him the ball a little bit more. I think only targeting him 3 times, or he got 3 receptions, but we need to start throwing him the ball a lot more. But Mike Williams, we traded from the Jets. We were saying we needed a number 2 wide receiver. Calvin Austin did get hurt today toward the end of the game. We'll see what his kind of where he's at for next week. Van Jefferson didn't really. I think he had no targets, no receptions. Sorry, but had a few targets. Do I think Mike Williams is going to be a really good number 2? Maybe. But I think the combination of Pickens, him, Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, Pat Freiermuth, I think will really be a big lift to this wide receiver core that we need. Since we don't have that dominant second guy wide receiver that we were trying to get, i.e., Ayuk, Devontae Adams, players like that. we weren't able to give them. So I think this is our next big option. So obviously defense played great. The bad news is Alex Highsmith did get hurt. Um, he did get hurt trying to get to Jaden Daniels, and stepped on his foot, and his ankle really went like 90 degrees. We don't know. He's going to be probably getting an MIR tomorrow. Hopefully, it's just a really bad sprain and keeps him out for a couple games. But it looked really bad. But Preston Smith, you trade for him from Green Bay. You bring him in. This is why you bring him in. He was able to get a sack today, which was awesome. Cam Hayward was putting work in, got 2 sacks. But this is why you bring in this backup safety, but not backup, but like a safety, insurance because of how like Alex Highsmith possibly getting hurt. You now have him. You don't have to rush him back. You have a capable uh, pass rusher in Preston Smith, and so you're feeling good about it. I will say there was some. If you want to be upset about the Eric's call, the Zach Eric's call, I understand, but at the same time, there's a lot of missed calls for the Steelers. We saw a lot of holding on our defensive edges. There's a good amount, and um, you don't want to ever blame refs. I know that people will try, will blame the refs, but at the same time, like I felt like the calls were pretty even. Now you might be upset about this call on the fourth down. But if you watched Still Conspiracy before, Bronny has talked about it. Why don't you just have a chip in the ball that when it crosses the line, it lets you know it crossed, and there's no doubt about it. You don't have to guess. Um, which I think would probably be the right thing to do, but I don't know if the NFL is going to want to invest that money into that kind of technology. Not because I don't think it would help, but they just don't want to, which is unfortunate because it would cause a less human error. So we will see what happens. Yeah, I was excited about this game today. I'm still excited. I'm happy we won. Next week's going to be a really tough game. Ravens, obviously, you saw they had a shootout with the Bengals. And this is going to be a test for our defense. We're going to have to play tough. We're going to have to cause turnovers. We're going to have to, it's this is one of the rare teams that they have a running threat and they also have a very good QB. And so we're going to have to defend one extremely well and the other one as best as we can, and focus our on that, and just like we did today, keep them out of the end zone. If they're kicking field goals and we're getting touchdowns, it's good. That's where we want to be. But we want to be able to defend good takeaways, but also defend touchdowns versus field goals. I think that we can do that. I think we have the team to do that. We've known the Ravens for a very long time, and this is the stretch that I talked about before the week before we went on our bye. We are hitting that gauntlet now. So we have the Ravens coming up. We have Bengals. I believe we have the Browns. We have the Ravens again. Yeah, so we have Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Browns, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. Like, that is murder row. Not even just because, even though the Browns are not a great team and the Bengals haven't been good, but they're division rivals. They can play the game. You saw what they've done. You saw them on Monday night. You saw them against other teams. So we have to be on top of our game when it comes to this. And so it starts next week. This I knew the Commanders would be a tough game. I thought it would probably be one of our losses. But we were able to get that win. So now we're going into this Ravens game, and then we have a short week going into the Browns game. So um, you gotta be able to, you know, put that in perspective. You win this game against the Ravens, you are then first in uh you're first in the division, and you're then able to take a um um you're able to take first in division, and you're able to take control of the playoffs. Right now I believe we're number two. Sorry, I was thirsty. Woo. Um, we are number two in in the AFC right now, behind the Chiefs. So you want to be able to maintain that momentum. We do get to play the Chiefs this year. It is literally the second game before the end of the season. They might be resting unless they're trying to go for a perfect season. So you got to get these wins now to then later on to kind of not feel the pressure to win, because you've been winning games all year. So this is a big one coming up for us next year. Stardew said game of the year contender for sure. It was a very sloppy game. I don't think it's a game of the year contender. I thought it was very sloppy. The stats were very not that great, you know. And it doesn't mean the game wasn't good. I just think the game was. I think the game was just very sloppy, and um, you you got to clean some of that up. I love the fake punt. Let me be to be honest with you. I know a lot of people are going to be very upset about it. But I loved it. I really did love it. I did not see an issue with it. Uh, and so I think that um, I think that I was okay with it, and you depended on your defense, who had been kind of keeping Washington at bay. So hey, roll the dice, and again was fine with it. Um, Going into next week though, a lot of news. It's a big game. Like, let's be honest, this is a big game. Deontay Johnson, who was traded for Jackson, who I think was hurt, kind of hurt today, his hamstring. Um, Going back to play the Steelers. Uh, Baltimore Ravens side Terrell Edmonds after we released him. So I think that this is a um interesting game next week that we have against the Ravens. Is it at home? Yeah, you got we're Ravens at Pittsburgh. So this is gonna be good for us as far as crowd, things like that. We've always given Lamar Jackson a hard time. John Harbaugh doesn't, he knows us. So and Russell Wilson, he looked good to a lot of people. A lot of people are kind of quieted down about the whole Justin Fields, Russ thing, and so I think that Russ is gonna he knows he's gonna play a good defense. I think Washington was a great defense today, but Baltimore is, even though Baltimore statistically isn't a great defense, Baltimore has always played the Steelers tough. So you can't sit there and go statistically they're not good, because that's when then they're going to dominate the game. So you have to go into this game ready to play, ready to hit, ready to block, and play well. We know that Baltimore's secondary is not the best. We need to run the ball. Russ has got to make sure he doesn't turnovers. It's going to be a big factor. And on the offensive side, Lamar Jackson's Lamar Jackson. The Steelers are going to have to deal with that, and they have Derrick Henry. I don't think anybody's really afraid of Baltimore's wide receiving core, even though they did get Deontay Johnson. I don't think we're that afraid of it, but you need to be careful because we've seen some of them being able to break out due to Lamar Jackson's play and is able to get on a roll. So you got to be aware of that. Um, and we just have to play sound, fundamental football. I think if we do that, we're going to be able to get the win. So it's going to be a big game. It's in Pittsburgh, and it's going to be a really tough hitting game. It's going to be for the division lead. Steelers win, they go 8-2, and Ravens lose, they go to 7-4. So this is a huge game for us. It's our first division game that we need to. Right now we're in the lead, but it's because we haven't played any division games. So we have to be able to um, win these games because these are the important games uh, coming up for us. So we have to be able to get these wins. Tuesday we'll be talking more about the Steelers Ravens game. So come make sure to hang out with us at a Steel Conspiracy. Yeah, I'm just today was a good day. I'm super happy with our win. Uh, Hopefully we can keep it. We want Russell Wilson's run four in a row. He looked good. The Mike Williams touchdown, was a great just moon ball, as everybody keeps calling it. And look, the offense just seems different with him running it. I think Justin Fields did a great job, but the offense just seems different with Russell Wilson running it. I think Justin Fields did a great job, and he may be the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Russell Wilson is just a different. He's just a different quarterback, and he's throwing the ball. He's getting them to his playmakers. The touchdown to Pickens was amazing. The touchdown to Mike Williams was a great throw and catch. And you're seeing this team click on the offensive side. And we really haven't talked about the offensive line. And even though Russ was hit a couple times today and sacked, it wasn't as glaring as normal to me as normally. Like you're just going, oh my god, there was some holes, there were some penalties. Wilson got decked a couple times, but for the most part, they kept him upright and they were able to make plays. Allow him to make plays in the throwing game, and he was able to do that. So, yeah, I'm super happy about this. I think that next week it's gonna be a tough game. I definitely will be hearing from Ravens fans. I hang out with Ravens fans, so it's definitely going to be a really interesting week with all of us, and I hope we're all prepared, and we all get ready. So I appreciate everyone that's hanging out. Usually I would normally go longer, but I'm by myself today. So, but it's all good. Make sure to come hang out on Tuesday. Steel Conspiracy. We'll talk more about this game. We'll talk more about Ravens Steelers. We will talk about Panthers and any other news that comes up. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday. You continue to have a wonderful Sunday. I appreciate everybody. Have a good day, and we will talk to y'all later.